Welcome back to Business English. I'm Nora. In our previous sessions, we focused on structure and clarity, but today we're discussing the high-stakes moments. What do you do when a senior stakeholder challenges your numbers or your timeline? Alex, why is it that even experienced managers sometimes lose their composure when they are put on the spot?
It's a pressure cooker environment, Nora. In a professional setting, a difficult question can feel like a threat to your credibility. Most people default to a defensive posture. They start over-explaining, or even worse, they apologize for things that aren't their fault. The key to a complete solution is moving away from defense and toward consultative leadership. You need a systematic way to handle pushback so that you remain the authority in the room, regardless of how aggressive the question might be.
Consultative leadership. That sounds like the level our audience is aiming for. You've developed a 3-step protocol for this: the cushion, the pivot, and the close. Let's break down the cushion first. How do we use it to neutralize a hostile comment without sounding weak?
The cushion is about emotional intelligence. If a director says, "Your team is missing every deadline," you don't argue with the emotion. You acknowledge the business impact. You say, "I recognize that hitting these milestones is critical for the project's success." This isn't an apology, it's a professional acknowledgement. It signals that you are on the same side as the business, which immediately lowers the tension.
So, the cushion aligns you with the business goals. Now let's talk about the pivot. This is where most people struggle with their language choice. How do we move from the problem to our professional reasoning without making excuses?
The pivot must be data-driven. You use a bridge phrase to transition. Say, "The current status is a result of our focus on the integration phase." By using the word focus, you frame the delay as a conscious, professional choice rather than an accident. You are telling them that you prioritized quality over speed. In the corporate world, a strategic delay is much easier to sell than a mistake.
A strategic delay. I love how that shifts the power dynamic. Finally, we have the close. Why is it vital to end with a question rather than just stopping after your explanation?
The close is where you regain control of the meeting's direction. If you stop talking, you leave space for them to attack again. Instead, you close with an alignment check. You ask, "Shall we proceed with this quality-first approach, or do we need to adjust the launch criteria?" This forces the stakeholder to make a decision. You've gone from being questioned to being the advisor who is offering options.
Let's run a high-pressure simulation. I'll play the role of a client who is unhappy with a high quote. Alex, show us the full protocol in action. Alex, this budget is significantly higher than our last vendor. I'm not sure we can justify this to the board.
I appreciate the need for budget efficiency. The investment reflects our full-service support model, which prevents the hidden maintenance costs you saw with previous vendors. Based on your goals for long-term stability, does this model provide the security the board is looking for?
That was a masterclass in professional reframing. You addressed the cost but sold the security. For our listeners, let's look at the specific language used for the alignment check. Listen to how these phrases sound when delivered with executive presence.
Does that align with your current priorities? Does that align with your current priorities?
Now the phrase for when you need to confirm a technical understanding.
Does that provide the clarity you were looking for? Does that provide the clarity you were looking for?
And finally, the pivot to a follow-up action.
I'll verify those metrics and update you by end of play. I'll verify those metrics and update you by end of play.
When you master these 3 steps, you become a trusted advisor in the room. Remember, cushion the concern, pivot